celebration and enjoy the game.
We're back, and we're just moments away from the start of this afternoon's game between the College of Staten Island and the New Jersey City Gothic Knights. We apologize for getting bumped off the air for just a moment, but Joe, as we mentioned during the pregame show, big game for the Dolphins as they look to win their home opener and open up undefeated at 2-0.
And just before we took a break for the national anthem there, I was talking about how New Jersey City University allows a lot of shot attempts, 38 so far this season, as opposed to only taking 17 themselves. They've only scored a pair of goals over 2 games and allowed 2 goals off of corner kicks. The Dolphins, as I mentioned in their first game, kept the pressure on Keystone, and if they can do that again today against New Jersey City University, I don't see why they can't win this game here this afternoon and continue that streak against the Gothic Knights.
Yeah, and you know, Joe, although the Dolphins are still a very young team, there's only one new player in the starting lineup, and that's Kayla DiBenedetto. The rest of these Dolphins all have at least a year of experience under their belt. So although this is a very young team, it is an experienced team as well, a team that for the most part played together all during 2016. And you look at the back four of Mulligan, Aparicio, Diola, and Perello, and this was really the choice starting back four for the Dolphins in 2016, and a Dolphin team that was very stingy in allowing goals, really returning intact in the back four.
And keeping pressure off your goaltender all begins there in the back four, keeping away from making key mistakes, handling the ball, and keeping the ball moving away from your goal and getting the ball up to your forwards, up the sideline, or wherever the opening may be. It all begins there with the back four, and the Dolphins are certainly set in that area. Of the other players up front for the Dolphins who made major contributions last year, Stephanie Lapointe was their leading goal scorer among players in today's starting lineup with 4. She also had 6 assists last year for a total of 14 points.
And we should also mention Victoria Sanchez in the starting lineup for the Dolphins is not a returning player, as that ball is going to be healed, and the first possession of the game here will go to the Gothic Knights. Moving forward with the ball is Vargas. She tries to play the ball on through, looks to get her own ball, and now the Dolphins are going to clear it out onto the near side of the field, and it'll be Lapointe working the ball up the near side to Russo. Russo getting the ball back up over to Lapointe as she turns and puts the ball into the center of the field, and now Mulligan gets her first touch, and now the ball will roll back to Diola. Over to Lapointe. She'll get the ball over to Aparicio, and she'll look to play the ball forward, and that's Sanchez looking to break in. Sanchez looking to play the ball in the near corner, now gets it over to Russo. Russo with a little bit of space looks to play it into the center, but the Gothic Knights able to play it back towards midfield. Now Lauren Smith with her first touch of the afternoon, and she's going to work the ball down on the far side. She feeds it up over to Sander. They pass ahead, and we're going to have an offsides called on the Dolphins. First offsides, Joe, of the afternoon.
And a good idea on that pass, and also before Victoria Sanchez with good hustle to run down that ball down around the left corner, at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, gave the Dolphins an opportunity. The pass from Russo toward the penalty area was intercepted, and now it's a free kick for the Gothic Knights.
Carabinero looking to play the ball, but it's going to be recovered by the Dolphins, and the Dolphins are going to look to play the ball forward, and now Dominique Johnson in goal will get her first touch of the afternoon for the Gothic Knights. Jackson, a 5'6" goalkeeper from Bayonne, New Jersey, in the pipes today for the Gothic Knights, as Mulligan will clear the ball out of bounds over the far sideline, and the first throw-in of the afternoon will go to the Gothic into this opening game for the CSI women's soccer team. Coming in as the and looking to play the ball forward. She was looking to be knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Dolphins, and it'll be Gothic Knights and
get that ball out of play and force a throw-in and slow down the Gothic Knights attack.
Both teams really looking for their first opportunity here, Joe. Both teams kind of feeling each other out through the first 3 minutes. No team with really any pressure inside the box yet. And the Gothic Knights will throw the ball in. That's Borrello to throw it in. Throw in for the Gothic.
We've seen 2 throws at University, but the penalty area and a quick ball call.
Oh, a nice field gets it up over to Pirello. Pirello, a long ball, looking to get it to Sanchez, but a nice play that time by Jackson to come out and play the ball away for the Gothic Knights. Good idea that time, but the pass just a little bit too far ahead, and Jackson able to make the play on it. Testa with the ball. Passing it down the near sideline, but it's going to be knocked away that time by Diola out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in once again for the Gothic Knights. Pentecourt throws the ball in. Now the Gothic Knights able to play it into the center of the penalty area, and the first shot on goal will be by Borrello, and it's a good shot and a nice save that time by Di Benedetto.
So that's the first opportunity of the game for either team. First shot on goal, of course, for either side, as you mentioned. Handled nicely by Di Benedetto.
Dolphins look to play the ball down. They're looking to get the ball to Sanchez, but 3 green jerseys around her, and they play it back to midfield. Pass up the far sideline, and coming forward will be Di Stefano to pick it up for the Dolphins. Now Sandor with the ball. Sandor turns and gets it over to LaPointe. LaPointe looking to get the ball out over to Sanchez, and now she'll bring the ball back, and it'll be Di Stefano out back by the midfield circle. Di Stefano playing it into the center field. The Dolphins once again look to cross, but that time nothing there, as Jackson is once again able to come out and make a play on the ball. A couple of good plays by Dominique Jackson here, Joe, in the early go, and fielding the ball very solidly back in net.
And we've seen the Dolphins look to play the ball both horizontally and vertically. We've seen some crossing attempts into the penalty area. We've also seen some attempted through balls that were handled by Jackson, as you just mentioned, coming out of goal to get on top of them. So the Dolphins attempting to keep the pressure on to be a goal.
Yeah, and Gothic Knights doing a nice job on a couple of series, bringing the ball up with slow possession passes and able to string together a series of passes, but now it's the Dolphins coming away with the ball. LaPointe was looking to get the ball forward. Instead, it's going to be knocked away. Now the Dolphins look to get the ball through. They were looking for Pirello that time, but instead we're going to have a whistle, and our second offsides of the game will be called against the Dolphins.
And the first attempt at putting Pirello through, I believe, hit off the back of Victoria Sanchez. There might have been an opportunity there had that ball cleared Sanchez, but as it stands, the offsides is called on Pirello.
Yeah, and we're going to have our first foul of the afternoon, as that's going to be called on Yara, so it'll be a free kick for the Dolphins. And, you know, Pirello, although listed, is playing up front. So
on the official roster, she does have a forward designated, a versatile player for CSI.
So it will be the Dolphins to throw the ball in, as the Gothic Knights able to play the ball away, but a costly error, Joe, is I believe they're going to knock the ball out over the touchline. It will be a throw-in, though. It is a throw-in. So the Dolphins throwing the ball in as they look to get it up the near sideline. Instead, the Gothic Knights able to play the ball forward, and that's Marino playing the ball up the near side of the field. Marino looking to get the ball up over to Vargas. Vargas, the leading scorer from the Gothic Knights a year ago. Looking to break forward through the center of the field, but a nice job by the Dolphins to play it away, as it's Pirello looking to get it to Russo, but instead it'll be Carbonero to knock it away. And now the Gothic Knights play the ball up over the near sideline, and it will be Diola to come up and throw it in for the Dolphins. So Brianna Di Stefano is playing in the back for the Dolphins here. She completes the back four for the Dolphins. As the ball goes under the foot of Diola, she comes back and retrieves the ball up over to Aparicio. Nice move by Aparicio, but a breakout pass is knocked away nicely that time by Tuesta. As the teams exchange possessions in the midfield. And now it's Marino with the ball. Marino looking to play the ball forward. The Dolphins able to knock it forward, but not out. As now it's Vargas with the ball once again. Vargas trying to get through in space. A beautiful save by Di Benedetto as that ball rolls just wide past the near post. That was a beautiful move that time by Melanie Vargas. And, you know, she's showing you the skill level that she has, Joe. And she very, very nearly gave New Jersey City University a 1-0 lead.
Great dribbling there by Vargas on that sequence, a player who led this team in scoring by a wide margin with 13 goals last year. Almost picked one up right there. Instead, it will be a Gothic Knights corner kick.
So the Gothic Knights with the corner kick. The Dolphins fortunate. And here comes the corner kick. It's a low liner into the center of the field, played right on goal, and Di Benedetto was there. So a nice play that time by the Gothic Knights as they're able to get the ball right into the center of the field as the shot kind of got shanked a little bit, Joe, but a good couple of efforts that time by the Gothic Knights.
Of goal.
Ball will roll out of bounds, and it will be the Dolphins to throw the ball in once again, as that's going to be Di Stefano with the throw in, but it'll be the Gothic Knights coming away with the ball as that's Marino. Marino getting the ball now to Becker. It goes off her foot, and now the Dolphins look to play the ball forward. Is looking to break in is Sanchez, but once again, Jackson coming out off of her line decisively to knock that ball away.
And a good job there once again by Dominique Jackson. The Dolphins looking to play their players through that back line of the Gothic Knights by chipping the ball up in the air and over the back line of NJCU. And Jackson has been that last line of defense so far for the Gothic Knights. She's been decisive coming out of goal to handle any potential Dolphins opportunity.
So it'll be Diola to throw the ball in for the Dolphins. Rebecca now in her second year with the team, and you know, one of those plays that really solidified the back line for the Dolphins almost immediately. Her and Lisbeth Aparicio really turned that back line very solid for the Dolphins as both of them return as sophomores here in 2017, as that ball is going to be knocked out of bounds, and it will be a throw in here for the Dolphins. Gothic Knights doing a nice job, Joe, pressuring the CSI throw-ins and really creating some problems defensively here for the Dolphins through the first 12 minutes.
It's been a back-and-forth game thus far, but the Gothic Knights with the two best opportunities by a wide margin. The Dolphins yet to put a shot on goal, and the Gothic Knights have put two quality shots on goal from inside the penalty area. However, still no score.
Smith rolls the ball out to Sandor, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds. It'll be throw-in for the Dolphins as Di Stefano will come over and throw the ball in. Throws the ball up into the Gothic Knights side of the field. And now the ball's going to be played by LaPointe. LaPointe trying to roll the ball forward, but no Dolphin there once again. And you know, Joe, so early on in the early going, it's been the Gothic Knights that have been really able to successfully put together a series of passes, and the Dolphins have struggled here in the early going.
The Dolphins have attempted many through balls and passes over the top of that back line, but have failed to connect on any of them yet. If the Dolphins were to connect on those, Dominique Jackson is still fairly far out of goal. There's a chance that she might be able to get on that ball before a Dolphins attacker can get to it. So we'll see if the Dolphins look to string together some passes rather than trying to hit the home run moving forward.
So we're going to have a stoppage in play for just a minute. We started the game out with just two officials this afternoon, Joe, but the third one has arrived. So the linesman will go back to being a linesman, and we'll have three officials on the field now for the remaining 31:59 of the first half. So we're going to have a substitution here as the official gets ready to start. So it'll be Kiara Meza Mendez will come in. when the official gives her an opportunity. So it'll be the Gothic Knights to throw the ball in. Bentecourt will throw it in. And the ball's going to be played away by the Dolphins as Diola plays the ball into the center of the field, but it's the Gothic Knights there to play it once again. And that time Diola just knocks it over the near sideline, and it'll be a throw-in once again for the Gothic Knights.
Hey, Danny, let her know she by herself, right? Let her know.
So it'll be another throw-in here, the third consecutive throw-in here for the Gothic Knights. As they get the ball over to Vargas. And now on the throw-in for the Dolphins, it will be an opportunity for the Dolphins to make their substitution, Joe.
And I think the reason the substitution was not allowed is because it wasn't a stoppage in play that involved the Dolphins with possession. The referee was taking the field, and I believe it was a Gothic Knights throw-in. So the Dolphins get their substitution out onto the pitch with 31 minutes remaining in the first half.
So Meza Mendez checks in as the freshman makes her home debut this afternoon for the Dolphins, as that one's just going to be played towards goal, and Di Benedetto is there to pick it up. 30 minutes, 45 seconds remaining here in the first half, scoreless between the CSI and New Jersey City as the Dolphins turn the ball over in their defensive side of the field, and it's Marino looking to play the ball forward, and now the Dolphins looking to clear the ball out, and now it'll be New Jersey City University picking up the foul, and we may have a yellow here. Let's see. We're certainly going to have any talking to. And, yes, she is going to get a yellow card. As that time Marino walked away from the play, Joe, and just kicked the ball away and really continued her defiance kind of the official throughout the entire time, and has picked up a yellow card for her troubles.
I think she made contact with the official as well. I'm not sure if it was intentional, but that may have been what prompted the yellow card, though she did heel kick the ball back toward the Dolphins' Lauren Smith, who takes the free kick out over midfield, and now it's Russo with it.
So far it's been the Gothic Knights really in control of possession through the first 15 minutes here of the first half, but we're scoreless, as now the ball's going to be played towards the back line of the Dolphins, as Aparicio is going to play it up the center of the field, and now it's going to be Russo to play the ball forward. Russo getting it to Perello. Now it's Russo breaking in on the near side. She comes towards the touchline. It's going to roll out of bounds, and it will be a goal kick upcoming for New Jersey City, as we're going to have a substitution here for the Gothic Knights.
Substitution for the Gothic Knights, entering 21, Crystal Tapali.
So Christian Tapale will enter the game, and she will replace Yarvik Gonzalez
She replaces number 19, Novich Gonzalez.
for the Gothic Knights, as the clock continues to roll now with 29 minutes and 20 seconds remaining here in this scoreless first half. Bentecourt looking to roll the ball up the near side. It's going to bounce off Tuesta and out of bounds, so Russo will come up to throw it in for the Dolphins. Sanchez sliding and rolling the ball back up over to Lauren Smith. Smith surrounded by three Gothic Knights. She moves the ball forward looking for LaPointe. But once again, the Gothic Knights there, but LaPointe staying with it as she kicks that ball in towards goal. Jackson looking to come out and make a play on it, and she gets it just ahead of the charging Lauren Smith.
Looked like that shot got a piece of a Gothic Knights player, allowing Jackson to corral it more easily, but pressure put on there by the Dolphins.
As Sanchez now swinging the ball out onto the far side of the field. She was looking for Sandor, but the pass a little bit too far ahead of her, and it will be a throw-in now for New Jersey City. Gothic Knights swinging it back toward that Dolphin defense. This play here now for the Gothic Knights, Benedetto has to come way off of her line. And another opportunity for the Gothic Knights, as the Dolphins not really doing a good job, Joe, balancing the field.
No, they haven't, and a decisive play there by Di Benedetto. If you're not decisive coming off of your line like that out to the top of the penalty area and out of the box to clear that ball away, the Gothic Knights may have their first goal on the board, or at least a high-quality opportunity. So nicely done by the Dolphins goalkeeper.
So another throw in for the Gothic Knights as they continue to apply pressure to the Dolphins as they brought up 8 players into the penalty area. And now it's Sanchez looking to counterattack quickly now for the Dolphins. Sanchez, long shot towards goal, but it'll just be a two-hopper that Jackson's there to play. And that will give possession back to the Gothic Knights.
Sanchez moved along that far sideline with some speed. It looked like she may have outplayed her her fellow attackers there. She was the only one up ahead.
So the Dolphins now looking to play the ball back defensively as it's Mulligan. Mulligan playing it to LaPointe. And we're going to have a whistle and we're going to have a foul called on the Gothic Knights. So the Dolphins will have a free kick, but they're going to have to move back to take it. And it looks like Lisbeth Aparicio will take the free kick here for the Dolphins. So the Dolphins look to get on track a little bit here offensively, Joe, in the first half.
They did exert some pressure early in this first half, but since then it's been all Gothic Knights, the best opportunities and a lot of time spent on the attack for New Jersey City University. The Dolphins will look to change that.
DiStefano looking to play the ball forward, but once again it's the Gothic Knights and Vargas coming away with the ball. As the Dolphins look to turn it back offensively, but really, once again, the only player up for the Dolphins on that play is Sanchez, and Jackson able to play it away for the Gothic Knights. Pass forward, knocked away by Mulligan, as Mulligan plays it into the midfield circle, and now it's LaPointe looking to cross over on the field. LaPointe looking to feed the ball ahead to Perello, but Betancourt is there. And Jackson will play the ball once again for New Jersey City University. Perello going to get called, I believe, for the offsides, Joe. That'll be the third offsides of the afternoon for the Dolphins.
And that'll happen when you try and connect on long through balls so often here in this game. The Dolphins have been trying to do that, and they failed to connect thus far.
Ball played forward as Russo is there to play it away for the Dolphins, but Betancourt is there to step up and regain possession now for the Gothic Knights. Carbonero now up on the far side of the field, Borrello. Borrello getting the ball into Tampale. And now it's Carbonero once again, but now Sanchez there to play the ball away for the Dolphins. LaPointe looking to play the ball forward, but once again the Gothic Knights coming away with possession as that's Tapali. Tapali, a beautiful ball over to Vargas. Vargas with space, and she puts that one just wide past the far post. So a couple of opportunities for Vargas. She's missed far post, she's missed near post, Joe, but she's come close a couple of times.
She has, and it's been all Gothic Knights really now since about maybe 10 minutes into this first half, perhaps a little bit more than that, as we will have several substitutions coming on. I believe 2 for the Dolphins and 1 for the Gothic Knights. Number 15, Brittany Bornstad checked in for the Dolphins. I believe Kiana Nugent checked in for CSI as well.
Yeah, Susan Aracena in front of the scorer's table as well, so we'll have a couple of more substitutions for the Dolphins as Sandor plays the ball now for the Dolphins. Sandor, long ball, looking to get it up to Perello. Instead, it's going to be knocked away and headed in midfield now by Mulligan. Mulligan looking to play the ball forward. It's going to be knocked away. And it will go over to the Gothic Knights.
Very quickly, Mike, the substitution that I mentioned for NJCU was number 8, Andrea Orlana, replacing number 20, Karen Tuesta for the Gothic Knights. So those are the 3 substitutions that came in at the last horn.
So now the Dolphins with possession of the ball as they look to get the ball up to Perello. Perello looking to run with Betancourt, but Betancourt able to play it out on to the near side of the field over to Borrello. And the ball is going to be knocked out of bounds. And it will be a throw-in once again for the Gothic Knights. And You know, Joe, we don't track possession, but I bet you it's at least 70-30, maybe even higher for New Jersey City University here in the first half.
I completely agree with you there, Mike, as the Dolphins just haven't been able to string together. I've already said a couple of times so far here in this first half, they failed to make that connection to this point, about halfway through half number one.
So that time, 3 Dolphins surround Katrina Borrello, but she's able to draw the throw in for the Gothic Knights. Bentecourt rolling it into the center of the field now for Becca. Becca looking to swing it out wide, but the Dolphins are there to come away with the ball. And now it's Perello at the midfield line. Perello looking to get the ball through to Nugent, but once again, just a step or so ahead. And Jackson is there to play the ball away. So Nugent, a first half substitution for the Dolphins, about a step away from an opportunity, is now playing it forward as Bordstad. And the shot is by Russo is going to be off the side of the net. So it will be a free kick opportunity coming up here for the Gothic Knights. But first we're going to have a couple of substitutions.
It will be Susan Aracena checking in for the Dolphins, along with Daniela Zerpolo, replacing Caitlin Russo and Adriana Perello.
So the front line of the Dolphins coming out here is an opportunity now quickly, as it's Aracena who just kicked into the game, and now it's Nugent creating a little bit of space for herself, but the shot and the save by Jackson. So Kyoja Nugent, Joe, who we're just seeing for the first time, a step or so away from a break-in opportunity, and now a good shot on goal as Aracena sets her up. So a couple of late first-half substitutions creating offensive opportunities.
And a strong play there by Nugent with the ball to fend off the challenge from the Gothic Knights defender. Created a great opportunity there for the Dolphins, their first shot on goal, and by far their best chance of this game.
So Bordstad looking to head the ball forward. She was looking for Zapolo, but it's going to be knocked out of bounds. But it will remain a throw-in here for the Dolphins, as the Dolphins start to get a little offensive pressure here on the Gothic Knights. Dolphins throw the ball in, as that's going to be Borstead heading the ball forward. Now it's going to come back onto the foot that time of Aracena, who blasts one on goal, and Jackson is there to make the save.
And that was a great shot there by Aracena from pretty far distance there toward the top right corner. That shot was destined for that top right corner, but just a bit too low to sneak it under that crossbar, as that through ball is played out of the penalty area by Dominique Jackson.
Yeah, Zerapolo broke in on goal, and now a shot goes wide. And I believe that was another opportunity there for the Dolphins. But all of a sudden, Joe, the Dolphins turning up the offensive pressure, and a lot of these substitutions in the first half playing a big role in that. Aracena playing very well along with Nugent and Borstad, as well as Zapolo. And they've really turned up the offensive pressure a little bit for the Dolphins.
They have. They came into the game, and immediately the Dolphins have what was by far their best opportunity and a pair of shots on goal to match what the Gothic Knights have done so far here in this first half. So perhaps momentum starting to swing in CSI's favor after the Gothic Knights controlled a large portion of this first half.
So we're going to have another couple of substitutions here for the Dolphins at the next opportunity. But first, the Gothic Knights will throw the ball in up the far sideline, and Dolphins there to play the ball once again. And here comes Nugent. Nugent with a little bit of speed and rolls the ball towards goal, and just off the outside of the post and out of bounds. So 3 opportunities already for Kyoja Nugent here in just about 5 minutes or so, Joe, of play, as she's really given the Dolphins a couple of opportunities and just missed scoring the first goal of the afternoon.
And we've mentioned how Dominique Jackson has been coming far out of goal to try and play those Dolphins through balls, but Nugent was able to get the ball on her foot well before she was met at the top of the penalty area by Jackson. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, Nugent's shot did get by Jackson, but glanced off the right post. And it will be the Dolphins now with the ball on what looked like a throw-in. Instead, I think the referee is now awarding it to NJCU.
Yeah, so a couple of substitutions for the Dolphins. Nicole Mignon checked into the game, and she's going to replace a couple of players for the Dolphins as Lauren Smith comes off the field for the Dolphins. And there was one other substitution as well. I believe Ashley Hunter also checked into the game for the Dolphins, and we'll get who she replaced in just a minute. It was Natalia Sandor who was replaced by Hunter. So a lot of substitutions coming in here in the first half, Joe. Very hot day, a lot different than the Dolphins opener in Pennsylvania. Chilly, rainy day out there, and it's kind of been chilly and rainy in New York for the last week or so, but scorching hot late fall day here, or late summer day, I should say, this afternoon.
Easily the best weather we've had for any of the Dolphins' home games. Unbelievable how much hotter it is out there on the pitch as compared to here along midfield under these tents that we have set up at about midfield to bring you the action from the CSI soccer complex.
So now Mulligan is going to head the ball forward, as coming over to play the ball away for the Gothic Knights will be Calbanaro. But it will be a throw-in for the Dolphins, and now we're going to have a whistle, and that's going to be a foul on the Gothic Knights. So the Dolphins will have a free kick opportunity about 10 yards on their defensive side of the field with 16 minutes, 35 seconds remaining here in the scoreless first half. And, Joe, the Gothic Knights started out strong, but these first half substitutions have really put some pressure on the Gothic Knight defenses. Once again, it's Nugent trying to force her way through, but this time knocking the ball a little bit too far ahead, and Dominic Jackson comes out to make the play for the Gothic Knights.
What's so impressive about what the Dolphins have done in turning the momentum of this game in their favor is how immediate the impact of their substitutions was on the really just complexion of this game in the first half. It looked like it was all Gothic Knights through about 20 minutes or so, and then those Dolphin substitutions began, and since that point, momentum has swung in their favor. The Dolphins have kept the pressure on NJCU and had two great opportunities.
So it's going to be a free kick opportunity now for the Dolphins as they look to play the ball towards the center of the box. And coming onto the ball, or trying to, for the Dolphins was Mignon. But instead the Gothic Knights look to play the ball forward. And that ball is going to be knocked out of bounds, so the Dolphins will give away the throw-in on the play. As that time it was New Jersey City University looking for the long ball to Marino. And the Dolphins clear the ball out over the far sideline. Gothic Knights doing a nice job getting the ball in, and a nice job by Vargas. You know, she's only listed at 5'0" on the program, Joe, just 5 feet, but really a very dynamic player and plays much stronger on the ball. As that time DiBenedetto nearly got herself in a bit of trouble as that ball bounced over her head. Fortunately, no Gothic Knight there to pounce on the error.
Very fortunate for the Dolphins, and you mentioned how Vargas has been a big goal scorer and providing opportunities for the Gothic Knights. I mentioned earlier in the game that she led them in scoring last year with 13 goals, but we also got to see her dribbling ability and creating an opportunity very early in this first half and putting the pressure on the Dolphins early.
So it's going to be a free kick opportunity now for the Dolphins right at the midfield line as Mulligan steps up. Looks like she'll take the free kick for the Dolphins as they'll see if they can play it up toward the top of the penalty box and build on that. As the ball is played right into the center of the field, it's going to be headed away by Mescavage. But the Dolphins now roll the ball back and look to rebuild offensively once again. Pass is going to roll all the way out of bounds up the far sideline, and it will be a free kick now for the Gothic Knights as we roll inside of 14 minutes remaining here in this first half. No score between the Dolphins and New Jersey City University.
And we will have a sub for the Gothic Knights. I heard the horn. We'll see, and indeed the sub will take place right now as it will be number 13, Araceli Carranza, checking in for the Gothic Knights, replacing number 11, Catherine Marino.
Catherine Marino, a very strong first half for the Gothic Knights, Joe, and you know, she'll go to the sideline now and take a little bit of a breather, but one of the better players for New Jersey City University in the first half. Sliding the ball through that time for the Dolphins is going to be Hunter, but a little bit too far ahead of Nugent, so the Gothic Knights will have possession of the ball. Pass by Mescavage gets away, and Dolphins maintain possession momentarily, but they turn the ball over as both teams fight for possession in midfield. And now DiStefano looking to roll the ball forward, and now the Gothic Knights coming away with possession up the near side of the field. Borrello Borrello looking to work against DiStefano. She chips the ball ahead. It's going to be off Aparicio. And now an opportunity as Tempali rolls the ball in towards goal. A couple of Gothic Knights bearing down, including Carranza. But Di Benedetto is there to make the play. So Gothic Knights with a couple of dangerous opportunities, Joe, and that certainly was very dangerous.
And those two opportunities that came in the last 2 minutes or so were the first 2 times we've seen the Gothic Knights string together a couple of passes beyond midfield in quite some time. So the Gothic Knights now looking to turn momentum back in their favor, and it's been a first half of momentum swings to this point.
So the ball's going to roll out of bounds up over the far sideline, and it's going to be the Gothic Knights to throw the ball in once again. Both coaches, a lot of substitutions in the first half, Joe. We mentioned it's early in the season, and it's extremely hot here this afternoon.
And the combination of those two factors does necessitate this frequent substituting, as the substitution now will enter for the Gothic Knights. It will be Katerina Tedosio checking in for NJCU, and it appears as if she'll be replacing number 21, Crystal Tapali.
Yeah, so Tapali was a substitution just a few minutes ago, Joe, and she'll come out of the game now as Teodoso goes into the game now for the Gothic Knights as the clock runs once again, and the Gothic Knights throw-in comes inside the penalty area, but the Dolphins able to knock the ball away, and now it goes back to Becca. Becca now looking to get the ball in forward as coming back and allowing the ball to roll out of bounds will be Aparicio, so it will be a free kick opportunity coming up here for the Dolphins. So free kick coming up for the Dolphins. Mulligan will come back to take that free kick. Shots on goal 3-2 in favor of the Gothic Knights. Just one corner kick here this afternoon, that for New Jersey City University. Gothic Knights looking to play the ball forward, but the Dolphins able to play the ball up the far side of the field, and now it will be Miscavige coming to play the ball back for the Gothic Knights, but it's going to go out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in for the Dolphins with just over 10 minutes and 18 seconds remaining here in the first half. Dolphins now take possession of the ball in midfield. A nice play by Bordstad, and now the Dolphins looking to play it forward. They did have numbers as the Polo tried to break in, but knocked away, and now it's going to be Hunter for the Dolphins. Hunter looking to play the ball over towards herself. She's taken down hard on the play. And so we're going to have I'm not sure if we're going to have a corner kick on the play. I guess we are, Joe.
We also have a Dolphin substitution. It's number 14, Diana Estrada checks in, placing number 9, Kiara Meza-Mendez.
Meza-Mendez also came in as a substitute in the first half. She'll now come off. And a big corner kick opportunity here for the Dolphins.
Kiki, let's go.
As they play the ball up in toward the center of the goal. A couple of white jerseys there as the ball's headed towards goal, but Jackson is there to make the play once again. And Dominique Jackson has been very good in goal, Joe, here for the Gothic Knights. When tested, she's been very efficient, hasn't made any mistakes.
And I mentioned in the pregame as well, the Gothic Knights have already allowed a pair of goals off of corner kicks this season. They nearly allowed a third right there. Had it not been for the stellar goalkeeping of Dominique Jackson, it may have happened. She decisively came out and grabbed that ball before a Dolphins player could get a head or a foot on it, as there, as you mentioned, Mike, were a lot of white jerseys around the net.
Estrada, who just checked into the game, gets her first touch of the afternoon, but she's going to knock the ball out of bounds over the far sideline, and it will be a throw-in now for the Gothic Knights inside of 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining here in this scoreless first half. DiStefano heading the ball forward for the Dolphins as they now look to play the ball up, looking to get the ball up over to Nugent. Nugent looking to work her way past a couple of defenders as streaking in is Zapolo. Nugent gets past one defender looking to keep the ball in bounds, but the ball just got a little bit too far ahead, and it's going to go out of bounds. Last touch by the Gothic Knights, so another good play by Nugent is going to lead to the second corner kick opportunity for the Dolphins here this afternoon.
the last corner kick taken by the Dolphins was a very good one. I believe that Susan Aracena took that last corner kick as well. She will get another opportunity from the corner right here. The Dolphins' second corner kick, the third of the game overall. Dolphins, of course, leading in corner kicks 2-1.
So here we go. As that corner kick is coming in toward the near post this time, and that time Jackson able to cut in front of Nugent and make the play on the ball for the Gothic Knights. Nice play by Hunter coming back defensively and breaking up that Gothic Knight counterattack. The ball's going to go out of bounds, and it will be Gothic Knights to throw the ball in. 2017 home opener here for the College of Staten Island. They won their first game 3-1 against Keystone College, facing a Gothic Knight team that started the year out so far 0-2, but are playing much better here this afternoon. We're scoreless. Clock stopped now with 6 minutes, 57 seconds remaining here in the first half.
It's been a good showing for both teams so far here in this first half, and I think to this point you can characterize it as the first 15 minutes in favor of NJCU, the next 15 in favor of the Dolphins, and then the last 15 or so, now 7 minutes remaining in the first half. So we're about halfway through that. It's been back and forth for the last few minutes. Opportunities on both sides, though a couple of corner kicks for the Dolphins in that time period as well.
So Kyoja Nugent checking out of the game for the Dolphins, Joe. Very impressive start for the freshman here in the 2017 home opener.
Absolutely. She created opportunities for herself and her teammates, playing the ball deep into the penalty area. She fought her way down toward goal as soon as she entered the game, within a minute or two, and came away with what was at the time the first Dolphin shot on goal. Unfortunately, it was saved by Jackson. She also glanced one off the right post.
So now it's going to be a short corner kick played by the Gothic Knights. It's going to be out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in, and it'll remain NJCU with possession. Gothic Knights looking to break in past the Dolphin defense, but a nice play by Mulligan to come over and break up that offensive attempt by the Gothic Knights. Hunter playing the ball up. A nice move now and looking to run onto the ball for the Dolphins is Zappolo, but a nice play defensively that time by the Gothic Knights to knock the ball away as Bentecourt came back and broke up that Dolphin rush. Borjad looking to play the ball forward, and that time we're going to have a handball called on Zappolo, and it will be a free kick opportunity coming up here for New Jersey City University.
Going back just a few moments, nice touch there by Mignon, quickly turning and playing that ball ahead. You mentioned Zappolo was making a run at it. She couldn't get there, but a threatening opportunity goes by the wayside for the Dolphins as Jackson did come out and retrieve that ball. Possession with the Gothic Knights now.
So the Gothic Knights will have the free kick as they play the ball up the near sideline looking for Borrello. As the Dolphins and Gothic Knights fight for possession. And now it's going to be DiStefano to head the ball out of bounds, so it will be a throw-in for New Jersey City University as we're now under 5 minutes, 4:45 remaining here in the first half. Bentecourt throwing the ball in. Played very well defensively, and the Gothic Knights have done a pretty good job, Joe, defensively here throughout the entire first half.
They have. I've mentioned several times already the Dolphins looking to connect on those long passes to put their players through, but the Gothic Knights have cut those down well. It's been when the Dolphins have dribbled in toward the penalty area and strung together passes in that final third of the field that they've created opportunities for themselves.
Now it's Vargas trying to create an opportunity as the ball gets farmed out now to Oriella. Oriella on the far side of the field. But now it's going to be played forward by Ambrose for the Dolphins. Ball's going to be too far. The official had his foot. Jackson skying the ball high in the air. In a position at least where they should be able to get the ball into the penalty area.
As it looks like
play the ball into the center of the field. It goes off one.
Corner kicks 3 aside. The first Dolphins corner created a very good opportunity. Solid head or a foot. They'll look to do so here.
Stay on the goalie, please. Come on.
A kick once again, Joe, for the doing a good job. But half as the Gothic Knights throw the ball in, and the time Vargas got a little bit of a shot in the face as the Dolphins come away with possession of the ball, as the Dolphins are going to play the ball forward, as that's Aracena. Aracena now swinging the ball out to Mignon. Mignon throwing the ball in, looking to get the ball up over to Hunter. Hunter breaking through one defender. She's knocked to the ground. And we're going to have a whistle.
It's a penalty, Mike.
And a penalty. Nice job that time as Ashley Hunter was able to force her way in and draw the penalty. And let's take a look and see who's going to take the free kick for the Dolphins, or the penalty.
Sounded like head coach Giuseppe Panetti just said let Nicole take it. So it appears as if it will be Nicole Mignon taking the penalty kick for CSI.
So Nicole played goal for the Dolphins in 2016 to take the penalty here for the Dolphins. Mignon comes up to the ball and puts it in the net. So Mignon gets on the board after a nice job by Ashley Hunter as she worked down on the far side of the penalty area, drew the foul, and Mignon scores the goal, Joe, and the Dolphins lead by a score of 1-0.
And great work there by Ashley Hunter, fighting her way deep into the penalty area and really forcing the Gothic Knights to foul. It looked as if she had beaten her marker and was going to get in on goal and maybe even cross that ball or pass it on the ground across the goal mouth to an open teammate. Either way, an opportunity was imminent. It comes in the form of a penalty kick by Nicole Mignon. It's good. Dolphins lead 1-0.
Yeah, so although Nicole played in goal most of the year last year, she did have a goal. She picks up her first here in 2017, and the Dolphins lead by a score of 1-0. As that time, the shot taken towards goal by Vargas is going to be out of bounds, and it will be a corner for NJCU. Still plenty of time. 18 seconds remaining here in the first half. Another short corner as this time Vargas is taken down, and we might have a yellow card. The clock will stop with 11 seconds remaining here in the first half, as we're going to have a yellow card shown on the Dolphins, and it's going to end up with a free kick here for Vargas.
Yellow card assessed to Dolphins number 10, Susan Aracena.
So Aracena will pick up the yellow card. It's going to be a free kick now with 11 seconds, and Vargas will take it for New Jersey City University. So an opportunity here for the Gothic Knights, as that is going to be played in toward the penalty box, knocked away by Mulligan, and she'll just play it towards midfield, and that'll do it. The Dolphins will go into halftime with a 1-0 lead on the very late penalty kick goal by Nicole Mignon. And, you know, if you're the Gothic Knights, Joe, you got to be a little bit frustrated. That was a tough penalty call late in the half. You played a great road first half, yet you trail by a score of 1-0.
A great start to the game here on the road for the Gothic Knights. They really controlled the first 15 minutes, as I mentioned before. Felt like the Dolphins controlled the next 15. The last 15 was a bit back and forth in the early portion of that time, but the Dolphins really took control in the last few minutes of that first half. It results in a goal and a 1-0 lead for CSI as we wrap up the first half.
So we're at halftime. Why don't we step aside, take a break here for a couple of minutes, and get ourselves organized, and we'll be back to bring you the first half statistics, the start of the second half, and maybe some other surprises as well. So we'll take a break. We're at halftime. The College of Staten Island leads New Jersey City University by a score of 1-0 as you're watching exclusive Women's Soccer 2017 home opening coverage right here on your voice for everything CSI Sports, CSI Sportsnet, CSIDolphins.com.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tight.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
So they say it's a man's world? I don't see anybody's name on it.
While they were doing their thing, we slowly tamed ours.
Today, women can do anything men can do. And there's one thing we're even better at.
Around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make
Good morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you?
You know you do.
Yeah, but I don't know where to start. That's why we're here. We're free, handsome.
I think we're breathtaking.
And here to guide you through every step of the way, starting with attendance. Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. I got this. Is that brand? Activities.
Chess really isn't my thing.
I got this. Doesn't matter. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Fire and ice.
Those don't really go together.
Go to GetSchooled.com for more info.
We're back here at halftime where the College of Staten Island leads New Jersey City University in this 2017 home opener. The College of Staten Island leading in this game by a score of 1-0. And, you know, Joe, we mentioned it a little bit earlier, but this is the first of 4 consecutive non-conference games to start the season for the CSI Dolphins. And, you know, several interesting non-conference games coming up for the Dolphins, including games against NYU and a big game against Kane University. And, you know, Kane was the team that broke the Dolphins' original streak last year. They went 5-0-1 in their first game before traveling out to Union, New Jersey, and losing a tough 1-0 game to Kane University, a game that Kane scored early, but then the Dolphins were able to shut them down a little bit defensively, but just couldn't find a way to do the first 45 minutes.
It was a very even game. I mentioned how the stats indicated that. You mentioned an exciting matchup upcoming with Kane University, and it undoubtedly will be an exciting game for CSI. Of course, you don't want to be looking ahead to a game like that, and I don't think the Dolphins will do that. They have 45 minutes of soccer left here this afternoon, and they'll look to close out New Jersey City University, though. Based on how the Gothic Knights played in the first half, Mike, appear as if it will be an easy.
New Jersey City University really was able to break in and really get pretty deep into the Dolphin defense, and De Benedetto made a couple of good plays on the ball, and New Jersey City University didn't make the most out of all those opportunities. But I'm sure that's something the Dolphins will be looking to close down.
Dolphins need to look to cut down those opportunities, as you said, Mike, and they'll look to prevent those great chances for the Gothic Knights here in the second half. But I think Jackson to come up on her line several times, play the ball out of the penalty. She's played out toward midfield and gone right back to the Dolphins and gotten their attention. Attack started immediately.
So a nice job by Sandor forcing the turning bit back, looking for Smith, but it's Vargas coming back for the ball, but Smith there to steal it once again before the Gothic Knights turn it over once again. And once again, Smith takes the ball away from Vargas and now feeds it over to DiStefano. So a couple of good defensive plays consecutively by Lawrence Smith have led to Russo coming forward for the Dolphins, feeding it out over to Sanchez, but a nice defensive play by the Gothic Knights now as they'll play the ball out of bounds along the far sideline. And this time, though, it will be a throw-in, and Daniela Bentecourt will come over to take the throw-in for the Gothic Knights. Just over 3 minutes into this second half. Dolphins on the Nicole Mignon penalty kick goal, lead by a score of 1-0 as we have a physical play in midfield. The Dolphin player down on the pitch. And now the Dolphins with possession of the ball, and we're going to have a whistle. A lot of contact in the center of the field that time. Nothing called by the official.
That was a hard collision there, as you mentioned, around midfield, Mike, and that's Elizabeth Aparicio, who went down and stayed down. She's back to her feet now.
Yeah, Aparicio really one of the steadying forces on the Dolphin back four, and really came in as a freshman and really helped stabilize that back line, and she's going to have to come off for a second. And she got hit pretty hard on the play. And she'll come off the field at least momentarily. The clock is stopped. 41 minutes, 38 seconds remaining here in the second half. Dolphins lead by a score of 1-0. Nicole Mignon penalty kick with just 26 seconds remaining in the first afternoon. Be a throw in for the Dolphins. Endo looks to throw the ball in quick. Now rolls down toward the goal. And it'll be a free kick now for the Dolphins. Set up the attack. Marino looking to give it back to Vargas, but pass just a little bit too far ahead, and Di Benedetto there to make the play. Good little bit of passing that time between Marino and Vargas. But the pass, Carranza put the ball back out of bounds. So it'll be a free kick for the Dolphins, but the game now for the Gothic Knights. And let's see who she'll replace. It looks like number 13, Araceli Carranza. And Carranza played very effectively, Joe, for the Dolphins. For the Gothic, should say, since checking in late in the first half.
Involving Carranza with the ball, and she'll now take a seat in the first half of her own.
As Bentecourt, the Dolphins with a penalty. They lead by Asfano, but Bentecourt there to knock it over. Gothic Knights once again, but a big turnover in the middle of the field, and Sandor was looking to break in. But the pass that time is going to be knocked away as Borstad tried to feed it inside, but a good defensive play by the Gothic Knights. Borstad feeding it over to Russo. Russo looking to break her way down the far sideline. Russo turning in a little bit of space. She was looking for Sanchez.
Them down toward the penalty area, but the last of those passes was a bit too long, forcing Barreo to chase down into the corner. And it appears as if we will have...
As we're going to have a couple of substitutions here, Joe, for the Dolphins.
It's Susan Aracena and Kiana Nugent checking in.
Sandor making herself dangerous here in the second half. Sandor trying to break through a couple of Gothic Knight defenders. Nice job defensively by New Jersey City Unit away by Dio. He's knocked hard. So we'll have a substitution for both teams here at the next opportunity. The ball is going to be played up in toward the center of the field. And here come the Gothic Knights looking to attack here quickly. Nugent turning and firing the ball. She was with just over 22 minutes remaining here in this second half. Vargas in the center of the field. Vargas chipping the ball forward to Gonzalez. Gonzalez marked there by Hunter. Now a nice pass over to Borrello. Should be a goal kick for the Dolphins, and it will be with 21:35 remaining here in this second half.
And it's been a constant theme for the Gothic Knights just a bunch on those attempted through balls down in the final third of the field. They're happy that were there, and those attempted through passes just a bit too much on them. And as a result, they haven't had a great opportunity since early in the second half, though those passes may have made for more. So opportunity since, not even nearly as much possession for the Gothic Knights as they had early in this second half, excuse me. You mentioned back in the down after a strong start in half number 2.
Yeah, really doing a nice job keeping the ball down on the Gothic Knights side of the field, as we're going to have another substitution as Nicole Mignon, the goal scorer of the game afternoon
today.
So now it's the Gothic Knights trying to challenge, and they are looking forward now, but the pass a little bit too far ahead of Caterina Borrello as she got behind the Dolphin defense, but Di Benedetto able to come out and make a play on the ball. A challenge once again, but a nice defensive play by the Gothic Knights, and now it's LaPointe playing the ball back as the ball's going to roll out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in here for the Dolphins as we now just nothing, as LaPointe will knock the ball out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in for the Gothic Knights. Now off the head of Mulligan and out of bounds. The Gothic Knights working their way up the field, and they'll have a throw-in inside of the Dolphins. Clock be a little bit of a factor here with just over Dolphins leading by a score of 1-0.
And there will be a Dolphin substitution prior to this throw-in, as it's number 2, Lauren Smith, reacting for CSI. She replaces Zappolo.
So Zappolo coming in, playing well here in the second half. She gave the Dolphins a replacer. Coming away with possession of the ball, looking to pass to the center of the field. A couple of Dolphin defenders back, and the ball's going to be played out now on the near sideline. They looking to get the ball in the air. It's going to go out of bounds, but it will remain in possession of the Dolphins as Diola will come over to throw it in. But first, Natalia Sanders, Dolphins. And she will replace Ashley Hunter for the Dolphins. She's going to knock it out of bounds. That ball will go off of second half. The first one for... Let's see if it's in Aracena. And checking out for the Dolphin Knights will be Depravia. 12 minutes, 30 seconds.
For about the last of this second half for the Gothic Knights. Come out attacking hard and playing physical in this second half. You have to wonder if endurance is a factor as well, as the Gothic Knights really haven't been
able to knock it away momentarily. But here come the Gothic Knights once again, as that's Vargas. Vargas rolling the ball down to Becca. Becca with a little bit of space near the goal line. She now feeds the ball back over to Borrello. Borrello playing it forward, but it's going to be off of Vargas. And now it's Lauren Smith with the ball for the Dolphins. Smith, a long ball down the near sidelines, looking to get the ball up over to Mignon. But a nice defensive play by the Gothic Knights as they come away with the ball momentarily and now play it up over towards midfield. But it goes over the head of Mulligan. It looked like a handball that time on Vargas, but nothing called by the official. Now it's Marino looking to turn. Gothic Knights playing the ball. And Sandor go for the ball, and it's Sandor feeding it back to Aparicio. Now it's Becca. Becca's pass is going to be knocked away. This is Mulligan. Carabonaro throws it in quickly. Ball played up in toward the penalty area as the ball's going to roll out of bounds. And that will be a free kick now for the Dolphins. So Gothic Knights trying to press the issue, but the Dolphins end up with a free kick.
And that was as much action as we've seen in this half of the field in at least about 15 to 20 minutes. The Gothic Knights putting some pressure on the Dolphins there, but nothing more than a Dolphins goal kick comes of it.
Yeah, now we're going to have a very high kick that time on the play by Vargas, and that's a red, and that's actually by Vargas.
And Vargas appears to be limping off as well. It seems as if she was either eager to
see how you can beef much about that red card that got shown to as we have a collision now as Jackson makes the play. I don't see how you have much of a beef on that red card call against Vargas. It was a pretty hard foul, but a couple of tough calls against New Jersey City University here. That's yellow to Marino that gets her to the bench. Pretty tough call.
It is a tough call for the Gothic Knights, which now puts them at a 2-player disadvantage. And I'm not sure if you caught it, Mike, but after that yellow that was issued, to Marino. There was a second yellow card issued to another Gothic Knights player. I didn't catch who that was, but the referee did show another Gothic Knight a yellow card.
Yeah, you're right.
Offsides is called.
Yeah, I did not see that, but you know, a big difference in this team. You know, you take a player like Melancy off of your right.
Despite all of that, the goal advantage for the Dolphins.
Just looking back last year, Joe, Melancy Vargas didn't even pick up a yellow card last year, let alone a red. She didn't get a single card at all, and Marino picked up 5 yellows but was never issued a red card as well. So, you know, a couple of plays that, you know, certainly it's not within their characteristic to play, and I'm not really sure what happened on that play with Vargas, but, you know, as we mentioned, it was a very, very physical foul.
And it certainly appears as if the Gothic Knights decided to come out and play a physical game in this second half, as they've challenged very aggressively, and it looks like a warning has been issued.
Trying to head the ball forward for the Dolphins. It's going to be knocked out of bounds, but this time it will be a throw-in for New Jersey City University. Dolphins will be back in action this Thursday night on the road. That will be against Purchase, 7 p.m. start. Games to start off the season for the Dolphins. Long ball played into the center of the box. And, you know, Joe, of course, a big difference in the attack when a couple of your best players aren't on the field and you're 2 players short. And Dolphins trying to take advantage of that as they're playing the ball now down up over to Perello. Perello turned and putting the ball towards goal, but it's Dolphins. 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining here in the second half. Dolphins playing the ball down over the far sideline now. It's Russo. Russo looking to chip the ball in front. Now Brachitz gets a foot on it. Now the ball's going to be knocked out of bounds, this time up over the near sideline and out of bounds. And it'll be the Dolphins to throw the ball in, as they look to keep the ball down on the Gothic Knights side of the field, close off their second 17 season. Throw in now for the Dolphins as they throw the ball in towards goal, and it's going to be a foul called on the Dolphins. As the ball is going to be played now, it's going to be a free kick opportunity here for the Gothic Knights, as the ball's going to be played up the near sideline and out of bounds, and it will be a throw-in, as we're going to have a stoppage in play now, as Coach Anthony Tuesta not very happy, and now we're going to get the red card showed to the head coach. And you know, boy, you know, I mean, he know when to walk away the game, and you know, if he just coach, bit of a mess at the end, a little bit unfortunate.
Of the Gothic Knights, 4 very quickly, maybe the warning perhaps, the warning before to end a game, and it was a game that was a 1-0 game on a penalty kick, and the penalty wasn't really that tough of a call. You saw the attempted slide tackle take out. The Dolphins put home that penalty kick here in the second half. No doubt about it, red card issued to Vargas, and then the second yellow card issued later, or actually very shortly after that, to Marino, was a tough call for the Gothic Knights, and that seems to be what got all of this started. The bench really began jawing at the referee after that, and that prompted the exit of 2 head coaches from the soccer complex with 2 minutes to go in the game.
Yeah, and, you know, the coaches, of course, are always responsible for their own conduct on the field. But, you know, I got to say, for the tough calls that Tuesta faced in the game, you know, I thought he handled himself pretty well, actually.
It wasn't very aggressive jawing at the official. He was standing within 5 feet of us, and I don't think anyone listening heard that come over the microphone. He was right in front of us when he was shown that red card, and I don't think it was an aggressive enough tone he took toward the official to warrant a red card, but the official saw it otherwise.
Yeah, and so we have 1 minute remaining in the game. The Dolphins 1 minute away from a shutout, and that would be the Benedict towards goal. Jackson was able to get a hand on it, but she couldn't fend it away. And Smith picking up broadcast will be this Saturday at 12 noon against Old Westbury. In between that, Joe, the Dolphins will travel out to Purchase College for a game this Thursday night at 7 p.m. So for our broadcast engineer, Dave Pizzuto, and my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman, this is Mike Babusky saying so long. Thanks for listening. Once again, the College of Staten Island wins their 2017 home opener as they defeat New Jersey City University by a final score of 3-0. Have a great afternoon, everybody.